So let's see. Recording. Great. So you can make your way on down and get comfortable. If you like head padding or anything supporting the neck or anything, you can that. And we're gonna start today just super simple with our hands on our rib cage. Okay, so it's these lower ribs that you'll have your hands on, and we're going to be focusing on just getting good inhales and good exhales. So super, super simple. So what does that mean? It just means you're able to fully fill up with air and expand 360 degrees through the rib cage, front, sides, and back, okay, on the breath in. And then on the exhale, you're able to expel all the air out and go all the way to the bottom. So I will say to wait until you feel the natural urge to breathe in. And when you feel that urge, you'll inhale and inflate with air, okay? And then you'll exhale, you'll get all the air out. Exhale all the way to the bottom. And you can really emphasize the exhale, like you're squeezing out all the toothpaste from the tube, get it all out. And then once you feel that natural urge, it'll just inflate, you'll fill up, right? Front, sides, back, chest, belly, everything fills with air. And then exhale. And we're gonna do a few more. So even though we're focusing on getting complete full inhales and exhales, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're super deep or big, okay? I don't want you straining or necessarily efforting too much, because then it can sort of kick on other muscles in the neck and in the face that we don't really need to be working. So as you do this, try to keep the shoulders relaxed and the jaw relaxed. So it's not like a huge exertion to make this breathing happen. It's much more natural and fluid, okay? And just see if you can do 2 or 3 more here. Inhaling, filling up, exhaling, letting all your air out. Okay. And you can always feel free to stay here as long as you need, right? If you're ready to move on, you're gonna come onto your heels, okay? Come onto your heels, which means we're dorsiflexing through the ankles. So your toes are pulling towards your knees, okay? Toes are pulling towards knees. Yep, good. From here, you can actually keep your hands where they were on your ribs or bring them down to your hip bones, okay? Whatever one you want. Start to drag your heels towards your butt. So why don't we just practice that a few times? So drag the heels towards the butt and then relax. Drag the heels and then let it go. Just maybe 4, 5, 6 times. And just notice how that might light up the back of your leg, the hamstring area a little bit, okay? Also, try to tuck your pelvis under here. So this is where you can emphasize kind of a flattening of your low back into the mat. Okay, sometimes I say don't do that. Sometimes I say find a happy medium. Okay, all kinds of things. On this one, see if you can really tuck your pelvis and then pull the heels back. Okay, now you're going to tuck the pelvis and maintain that heel drag. Pull your left knee up over your left hip. Don't let the pelvis shift as you bring the left heel down. Drag the left heel back and then pull your right knee up over your right hip. So these are slow and controlled, okay? And the slower you go, the more kind of in touch with all the sensation you'll be. So your core, right, is going to be working, especially if you really tuck the pelvis. And if you go slow, and then the back of the leg, the hamstring of the heel that's on the ground will also be working. Good. We'll do one more. And then from here, you're going to put both heels on the ground. You might need to move them closer to your butt. You might not. Okay? It depends. You're going to lift your hips up off the floor. Keep your little pelvic tuck. And we're gonna do that same movement, okay, with the hips up. Now for this one, I really recommend keeping your elbows pressing into the ground to help with the stability of the pelvis so that one hip isn't dropping as you lift a knee, okay? And then you wanna keep that good core tension. So this will still be some back of the leg. You might get into more glute on this one. Good. Hips are up just a little. We're alternating side to side, face, neck, head, jaw, all stay relaxed. One more on each side. Try not to be shifting the pelvis too much. And then hips down. Feet can come super wide like mat width. Open up the arms and we'll windshield wiper side to side. So knees go one way, gaze goes the other, and then you reverse it. Awesome. And just invite all the tissues to relax. Let the belly and the pelvis soften, get heavy on your mat. Awesome. And then grab your yoga block. Just grab one. And we're gonna go the widest way. So not the middle one, not the narrow way, the widest way, right between the inner thighs. So it's like you don't want it too close to the pelvis. I would say the block is a little bit closer to the knees, and then it's super wide. Okay. And we'll start with the feet down. We'll lift them in a second, but just start with your feet down. Okay. And we're going to incorporate some intentional, like pelvic floor awareness into our breathing here for a moment. So what you want to do is breathe in, just like we started class with, but now just bring your focus into your pelvic floor. When you inhale, try to do the opposite of a Kegel. So you breathe in, your pelvic floor is relaxed, the front and the back. There's no tensing it. On your exhale, you breathe out just like before, but this time you can do like a low effort Kegel and hug the yoga block. They'll happen together. Try not to overly like clench your butt or anything, but it's just kind of like you're holding pee in, okay? And then you breathe in, you relax that, intentionally relax all those muscles, relax all those pelvic floor hammock muscles, right? And then exhale. You can really hug the block and then just a little bit of brain body connection into that area. Gentle squeeze, gentle contraction, but nothing like too effortful. Okay. See if you can do two more. Inhale and relax. See if you can feel it relax. And then exhale and contract. And hug the block. Okay. And we'll just do one more like that. And then on this exhale, you're going to contract, hug the block, and lift your knees up over your hips, okay? So now we're just going to be moving. Your pelvic floor is going to do its thing. If you want to intentionally contract it on your exhale and really focus on it, you can, or you can just, ignore it, and that's fine too. So it's really what you want to focus on here. So now what we're going to do is inhale, pull the knees towards your face. And when you do that, I want you to kind of roll your tailbone up off the ground, and then exhale, tailbone down. Legs go straight out in front of you, and you're lengthening through your abdomen. You're not pulling your feet to the ground. You just go horizontally. So inhale, they pull in towards you, tailbone lifts. Exhale, move away. See if you can play with that a couple more times. We'll do one more. Definitely going to get in touch with the inner thighs. Then knees come over the hips, arms come out to a T. You're letting your legs go over towards the left. We'll go all the way today. So let the legs go all the way to the ground, and then pick up your right arm and stack your right palm on top of your left. Now today, I want you to reach your right arm past your left arm. So you're getting a big kind of reaching sensation through the back of the right shoulder because you're reaching the right arm past the left. Then go ahead, windmill, open up the arm, pick the legs up, roll all the way to the right, but keep your left arm on the ground as long as you can. And then bring the left palm on top of the right, reach the left palm past the right. So it goes further past the right hand till you feel a stretch behind that left shoulder. Then the arm opens up in windmills. Okay, keep the legs on the ground as long as you can. Then you're going to use your core muscles to pull yourself up and go all the way to the left. And then same thing. So see if you can alternate and go side to side, but this whole thing is pretty slow. Okay, you want to take your time and really get that reach through the shoulder, open up, connect to your core to pick the legs up. And then the arm follows after you might get a little bit of a stretch through the chest and the pec. So you reach, find the shoulder stretch, open the arm, start to connect to your belly muscles. Good. So see if you can do one more to each side here. Beautiful. And then we'll come through center. We'll bring the feet down, take the yoga block out, take the soles of the feet to touch, and you're gonna open the knees into your butterfly shape. And then you might just move your, like pump your knees up and down a few times, and then pause. And this won't involve any like movement. You're just gonna pull your knees towards the ground. So your left knee's pulling towards the ground on the left, your right knee's pulling towards the ground on your right. And just see what you feel. Like 2 breaths, and then relax your right one and just do it on the left. So you're just pulling your left knee towards the ground. You might feel some stuff deep in that left hip, potentially. Yep. And then relax the left, and then just do the right. So you're pulling the outer edge of the right knee towards the ground, and the left is relaxed. Yeah. So it's just like an isometric contraction for some of those kind of deep internal hip muscles. Good. And then relax the right. Okay. So now we're going to go into some butterfly bridging. So press into the outer edges of your feet and lift your hips up and down. So let's do this about, I don't know, 8 to 10 times, just lifting your hips up off the ground, bringing them down. As you work here, try to notice if you can press down through both feet evenly. Okay, we tend to maybe have a side that we kind of favor. So just put that conscious intention into, okay, my left foot and my right foot press evenly. Okay, and then for your pelvic position, this is one of those times I would say try to go for a happy medium, meaning you don't have a huge arch in your low back, but you're not excessively tucking either. A way you can kind of try to figure that out is to have your 2 front hip bones and your pubic bone in the same plane. So they're flat, and then the hips move up and down. Don't overthink that. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just one way to kind of find that happy medium. Okay. So now hips are up, but only go a little bit. Don't go like way up here with them. Lower down a little bit so they're not super high. Okay, try to find that kind of hip bone, pubic bone flatness. Okay, and then you're gonna pump your knees up and down like you're flying your butterfly wings. Okay, let the belly muscles start to connect. Okay, and you can go as fast as feels good for you. Okay, so as fast as feels good, I have my elbows on the ground and the knees are just pumping up and down. Okay, it should be a pretty good burn. Nice job. Nice job, nice job. And then when you're good, when you feel a lot of sensation, you feel like you're about done, we'll bring the hips down, knees into chest. We'll do our big hip circles here. So one knee is going clockwise, one is going counterclockwise. You're just lubricating the hip joint with some circles. Also massaging the low back and the back of the pelvis, and then you can go in the other direction. Beautiful. Okay, you're gonna roll over. We're gonna make our way all the way into tabletop and just start to warm up the upper body a little bit more. We did mostly lower body, core, and stuff on the ground there. So we'll get into the arms, the shoulders, the wrists, and stuff now. So you can set up your you can set up your yoga blocks at the top of the mat. Okay. Let's not be on them for now, but just have them handy. So you have your palms under your shoulders and your palms are spread, and then your pelvis untucked. Okay, so that means you don't have this rounding in the low back. You're gonna gently stick your butt up towards the ceiling and push away from the ground. Okay, now I want you to try to maintain that pelvis position as you shoot your hips straight back, nice and slow. Okay, so it's not a quick motion, but your hips just go straight back and then you rock forward. Okay. So, what we don't want is this happening rounding of the low back as the hips go back. You're keeping your butt slightly tilted upwards, and then you're like thinking of your glutes kind of spreading out as you go back. And then we're thinking of loading the hands as we come forward. Okay. Loading the hands. And I want you to think of your pointer finger and your thumb mound for sure, getting some pressure. That tends to be the part of the hand that we kind of bypass. Good. Okay. Now you can tuck your toes under and tuck your pelvis. That doesn't mean it's a full angry cat. So we don't round the upper back, just the pelvis tucks a little bit. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to rock back and forth. So this will feel slightly different. First of all, it's going to be a little bit more of a toe stretch, right? And then second of all, your low back is probably going to feel a little more lengthened. Your low belly muscles are a little more shortened. We're still focusing on putting our body weight into our hands, our wrists. Good. And then find a happy medium here in center. So adjust your pelvis again. Okay. Now we're going to get into our wrist push-ups. We haven't done them in a while. So let me just come close to show you. This is the part of the hand we're pressing into. Pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Our thumbs are going to be lifting off the ground. So when I say those 4 knuckles, this is the part of the hand I'm talking about. Okay. That's the part of the hand I'm talking about. So you're going to lift your thumbs. Okay, I would start with your shoulders shifted back off your hands at first because this gets hard and you might need to move them back. You can always move them forward if you want to make it harder. So shift your shoulders back, lift your thumbs, push into those 4 knuckles I just showed you, and then lift the palm, or you can think of it as the heel of the hand. So I'm lifting my palm up, dropping my palm down, and I'm pushing into those 4 knuckles. If it's too hard, back your shoulders up more. Even with my shoulders way back here, if I push into those 4 knuckles and kind of brace my core, I can get a lot of work in my forearms and my wrists. Okay. If you want more of a challenge and you can maintain a straight elbow, which I should mention, the elbows stay straight, then you can move your shoulders forward. But by now, it should be a pretty big forearm burn here. The palm lifts, you push into those knuckles, the palm lowers. The thumb stays raised the whole time. Let's see if you can do 5 more. Elbow straight. Awesome. And then just come into a tall kneeling. Let's roll the spine up and just shake out the hands. Okay, you'll probably want to shake them out. Yep, after that, and maybe make fists and then open up, and maybe some wrist circles also, some forearm curls. Yeah. So if you got into it, you know what I mean? You got into those forearm muscles. Yeah. Good. So now we'll come back into tabletop. We're going to extend the right leg straight back. Okay. You're on the ball of the foot to start, and you're pushing away from the ground with both hands. Okay. When you're good, you're going to take your left arm out to a T, Keep pushing away from the ground with the right arm. Make sure you're staying connected in your belly muscles. You're gonna spin your left palm up towards the ceiling one way and then spin it the other way. So it's an axial rotation of the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. Now, we all can pretty much do this with the forearm and the palm. Try to get the shoulder to lead. So the shoulder rotates internally, the shoulder rotates externally, and my head is turned and I'm looking at that hand as I rotate my shoulder inwards and outwards. Good. And then you're just gonna sweep the arm forward like you're gonna shake someone's hand. Lift your right foot up off the ground. And we're just gonna hold this super simple for 3 breaths. Okay, push away from the ground with your right hand, connect to your belly muscles. 4 breaths. And then left hand comes down, right knee comes to meet left. Spread through those palms. We're headed into a knee hover. The knees are gonna lift. The hips are gonna rock back an inch. The hips are gonna rock forward an inch. And then the knees are gonna come down. Okay, so knees up, hips back an inch or two, a little bit. Hips forward, knees down. Okay, we're gonna do it 3 more times. Knees up, hips back, hips forward, knees down. Okay, you don't need to lift your hips up high. Try to go straight back. 1 more. Job. From here, your left leg extends straight back. You're on the ball of the foot. You're pushing away from the ground with that left hand. The right arm is going out to a T. Okay? Right arm out to a T. You turn and look at that right hand, and then you're rotating from your shoulder internally and externally. So it's an axial rotation of this right arm. Your palm is spinning up towards the ceiling and down towards the floor. Your core is staying braced. Try to initiate the movement from the shoulder. And then when you're good, the palm reaches forward like you're gonna shake someone's hand. We got 3 breaths. Push away from the ground on the left arm. And then right hand comes down, left knee comes in to meet right. We're going back to a knee hover. This time, hips are gonna go up and back towards a downward facing dog with soft knees. We're rocking forward to the knee hover and then reaching the hips up and back to the left. So you go into your left hip and then rock forward, knee hover, and then hips up and back to the right, forward, knee hover. So hips go straight back. You can keep your knees bent or straight now, whatever feels better. Rock forward, knee hover. Hips up and back to the left. So you're just putting your weight into your left leg, hips shift left, then central knee hover, then hips up and back to the right, and central knee hover, untuck toes. Let's take a child's pose. Any variation that would feel good to you. You can make a pillow for your head, gently move your hips from side to side. Just relax your face, your neck, your head, your jaw. Let the shoulders soften and the face. Take a few breaths. Let the body sort of melt and get heavy for a moment. Just kind of letting go of all that work for a few cycles of breath. Slowing the breath down, letting the heart rate come down a bit. And then when you feel ready, we'll reach the arms forward. We'll make our way back on up to table. We're tucking the toes, sending our hips up and back towards the downward facing dog. And then just spend a little more time here now. You can bend into one knee and then the other, walk the dog out, let the heels sink towards your mat a bit. And then you're gonna be walking your feet towards your hands at the top of the mat. We're gonna soften the knees. Soften the knees, take a block with us, and roll up. So if you like swaying side to side, that feels good. You can add some of that. If you'd rather just keep it sagittal plane front to back and take your time, just go super slow. Either way, whether you're swaying or not, try to go super slow. If you are swaying, when you go to the left, put your body weight into the left foot. And then when you go to the right, put your body weight into the right foot. Okay. And then you're rounding your spine all the way up. Your head can arrive last. And then just take a moment once we arrive, give the body a second to adjust. Standing up. Okay. Adjust your feet so they're about hips width, or they could be a little wider or a little more narrow, give or take, but around hips width apart. Our knees are not locked out. Okay, the block is going to start down here in between the palms. I want you to push your palms into the block, but I'm not gripping it. Like, I don't have my hands around it. I'm just pressing my palms firmly into the block and reaching my arms up. Okay, now grow nice and tall. Imagine your rib cage was vertically lifting up off your pelvis and side bend over to the right. So you're reaching your yoga block as far to the right as you can, as you shift your hips as far to the left as feels comfortable. We'll take 2 breaths. Pull yourself up, reach up nice and tall, and then shift side bend your upper to the left, but shift your hips to the right. Okay, so your yoga block is reaching as far to the left as you can, as your pelvis is shifting over to the right. And then you'll pull yourself up. We're gonna bend the elbows and bring the yoga block behind the head. Bring the yoga block behind the head, good. And then open the elbows nice and wide. Soften the knees, and you can press the back of your head into the block. And like in this position, your body weight goes out of your heels and into the balls of your feet. You're tucking your pelvis under and trying to lift your heart up towards the ceiling. And then last point is actually try to spread your shoulder blades apart here. So it will be tempting to try to squeeze them together. Try to get them to pull away from each other, east to west. Okay. And then slowly come up, reach your block up. Okay. And then we're going to go right into some fake ball slams. So, or fake block slams, whatever you want to call it. So you're up. Okay. And then you're going to sink down into a squat and pretend you were slamming it down. Okay. This is kind of the middle of the road option. Your heels are down, you're reaching up, and then you're slamming it straight down. You're just coming into a squat. Now, for these first few, I want you to keep your chest up, okay, so that someone could read your shirt. So it's not like this. We're going to do that in a second. So you're up and then you're sinking. If this is too much, don't sink into the squat. Just slam the block, and you'll still get a good kind of arm core kind of work. And then if you want more, you can lift your heels and then drop your heels as you sink into your squat. So that in that case, you'd be up and down. But if lifting the heels throws the balance off, then just stick with flat feet. Okay. So see if you can do 3 more. Any of those options. And this is definitely one where we don't have time to think, okay? So we just kind of got to let our body move. It's more central nervous system, a body focus, okay? Now, shake it out for a second, maybe swirl it out or shake out the arms, okay? I want to have you practice it in more of a hinging pattern. So this is where we're imagining we're closing a door with our butt. So you're going to be lengthening through the backs of the legs. So just keep the knees soft, keep the heels down, reach the arms up, okay? And you're still gonna slam the block, but now your butt goes straight back into a flat back, and you're looking for some nice length behind the glutes and the hamstrings. So you're up and you're still slamming, but now your butt goes straight back as opposed to sitting down, okay? So it's just a different pattern. We're kind of lengthening some different tissues, but you're still practicing that slam. Good. Notice if all of your body weight is in your heels when you slam, shift more of your weight forward into the balls of your feet. Nice job. This definitely gets the heart rate up, the blood flow. Okay. So then we'll pause, come out of it, maybe shift the body weight from side to side a second, just kind of come back into a little bit of slowness, stillness. Great job. We're going to look up at the ceiling, drop the chin to the chest, roll on down. Let's put the yoga block down, and then we'll plant the palms on the flat height of our yoga blocks and step back into your plank. So either leg can step back first, and you're going to be in your high plank here. Okay, try not to have your hips much lower than your pelvis. Try to lift your hips up a bit. Softening the knees can sometimes help you get that rib cage, pelvis, head alignment. Okay, and then we're just going to spend a little bit of time here. Okay, pulling the feet and the hands towards each other, dragging them towards each other. See what you feel in your core as you do that. Nothing moves, just dragging. Okay, then do the opposite. So push the yoga blocks away from you and pull the balls of your feet back towards the back of the mat and see what you feel. And then alternate. Pull them in towards each other and then push them away from each other. Pull towards, press away. Good. 2 more. And then drop the knees down, untuck the toes. You can either just rock your hips back and forth here as your reset, or if you want more of a shoulder stretch and some stillness, send your hips back, press your palms down into your blocks, round your upper back, and you'll get this nice like armpit shoulder stretch. But you do need to round the upper back a bit to find it and push your hands down. Good. Or if you'd rather, you can just rock back and forth. Nice job. Okay. From here, we are going to go with right leg back. We're going to do our fun push-ups. So feel free to take your yoga blocks a little bit wider. I find that a wider hand position is helpful here. Okay. And then just make sure your left knee is right under your left hip. Now, what's nice about these is you can go down any amount. You can do a baby push-up. Your leg can go behind you and you can pop up, or you can lower your nose like all the way to the floor and then pop up from there. But we are lowering, slow and controlled, and then pressing up quick. Lowering, slow and controlled, pressing up quick. Okay, your right leg can totally go up in the air behind you, and then you just do your pressing up, okay? See if you can do a few more. I would inhale, slow down, exhale, pop up. Nice job. Let's do one more. And then you're stepping the right foot forward in between the hands. Good. And then I want you to keep your trunk, your torso, over your right leg. Over your right leg. Okay. What we're going to do though is keep one hand. Let's do this. Keep your right hand on your yoga block for a little bit of balance, but you're going to take the yoga block under your left hand and you're going to stick it in between your leg and your belly. So you're going to be smashing your yoga block with your ribs, and you're going to come down like this. Okay. If something hurts, okay, try to like move the yoga block lower so it's not like pushing into your ribs. Okay. Or you can do this without the block. Okay. You can put your blanket or your rolled up towel or something, but I'm hoping that everyone can kind of get it in there. Okay. Now, let your rib cage round around the yoga block. Like let your body slouch. Okay. You might want to tuck your left toes under if balance is tricky. Okay. Everything is slouched over the block. And then we're literally going to do a Y raise. So you're going to lift your arms up and then lower the arms down. So if I turn to the front, look like this. Yep, exactly. So our shoulders are going to get to do some work. Okay. We're crushing the yoga block. So again, wanted to just try to do it like this, without the yoga block, you could. I really like how it feels, but that's just me. You might like the blanket or a pillow instead as well, okay? And your gaze is just right down kind of at your right big toe. Good. Nice job. This is a good one if you wanted to get like light weights, 3 to 5 pounds, and then lift them. Good one. Perfect. Okay. So now you can take your right hand back to the block, take the left block out of off your leg, and we'll put the yoga blocks on the highest height. You're gonna have your left toes tucked and we're gonna lift our back knee up. So you're in your runner's lunge, in a runner's lunge. Good. Now make sure your feet are on train tracks and not a tightrope. Train tracks, not a tightrope. Okay. We're gonna take our yoga block with us, either one, it doesn't matter. You're gonna lean your body over your front leg. You may need to walk your back foot in a little. So my right knee is bent, my back leg is straight, my back heel is pressing back. Yoga block is right between my palms. Good, 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 good. From here, you're just gonna reach your yoga block up and to the right, bring it down, and then up to the left. And you can start to let it be more of like a pendulum swing, side to side, or you can do more of a slow reach. Okay, either one is fine, but we're not moving our back hip at all. So like we're not opening that back hip, we're focusing on loading the front leg and then just either swinging, which is gonna challenge your like dynamic stability a little bit more because your body has to respond, or you're doing it more of a slow reach. Or you could do a little bit of both and just kind of see the difference. Both are good. Awesome. And then you're gonna drop your left heel down and come into your warrior two. Okay. So we got front knee bent still, back leg straight. We're gonna be reaching the yoga block up. Okay, we're gonna be reaching it up overhead. So you bend into this front knee. We're gonna lean over the front leg. Okay, it's a lot of work. Drive your right knee forward, straighten that front knee, and then pull yourself up. Just go straight up. Okay, so bend the knee, side bend over the leg, lots of length through that thigh, drive the knee, push through the foot, pull yourself up. Good job. Okay, see if you can bend the knee, side bend, straighten leg, up. Beautiful. We'll bring the arms down, lift your back heel, pivot, turn onto the ball of the foot, bring that yoga block back down. So we're gonna have yoga blocks on the highest height, in front of us. Your body weight's on your right leg and your left knee is gonna pull into your chest. In this position, okay, I want you to play with tucking your pelvis under, finding a lengthening in your low back, and then sticking your butt up towards the ceiling. So you're kind of shortening the low back, but lengthening the belly muscles. So you tuck a little, and then you untuck a little. Good. Super subtle. Then you're gonna go with the more untucked version. Okay, more untucked. You're gonna reach this left leg all the way back. The left leg all the way back. Good. And then bring your left knee in towards your chest, but don't tuck your pelvis. So we're not rounding the back like this. You're keeping the pelvis untucked, which a little bit different here. The knee comes in and then just extend that leg straight back. Now, if you want, you can just like kind of think about this, getting slightly lighter on the palms on the yoga block. Just getting slightly lighter is going to make this more challenging for your right leg. But all we're doing is pulling the knee in and straightening it right back behind us. Good. And then plant that left foot down. The ball of the foot's on the ground. You're going to come off your yoga blocks, keep soft knees, and then roll on up to standing. So this is where we're going to be doing some sliding today. So wherever your slider is, whether you have a blanket, a towel, a washcloth would work. My blanket is a little bit on the big side, but anything you can put under your foot, okay? Now, I want you to start with your right foot. I want to move my mat back a little bit. I want you to have your right foot on your mat. That's going to be kind of like our front working leg here, and then you're gonna take your slider, whatever you got, under the ball of your left foot and lift your left heel up. Okay, so I walked to like the edge of my mat, my right foot's on the mat, my left foot is on the slider, which is off the mat. Okay, now from here, you're gonna bend into your front knee, and your arms are just gonna kind of come in front of you like this. You're gonna slide this leg back, push into the ball of your left foot, and then pull it in and stand up and do a lunge. Now, it's okay to lean over your front leg a little bit as you slide back. So could stay more upright like this, but I'm saying it's fine to lean forward like this, okay? If you're curious, you can do a few of each. What does it feel like to try to stay more upright? What does it feel like to try to lean forward? Or you can just pick one that feels best to you, but you're trying to keep a lot of weight for sure in that right foot, and you're pulling the slider in and out. Good. Okay, we'll do one more like this because we are not quite done with the slider. You might want to shake out your right leg depending on how much that was for you. Now we're going to take it sideways. So bring your left foot directly next to your right foot, but the left foot is on the slider. Put your heel down, and your right heel is down as well, and both feet are facing straight ahead. Okay? From here, you're going to start to slide your slider out to the left. As I do that, my right knee bends, reach my left arm forward, I pull my right arm back, shift my body weight more forward into the ball of the foot, push down hard into my slider, and I stand up. Okay, so if I turn to face you, so you can see, if you're curious, knee goes straight ahead, right arm pulls back, I slide, and then I pull in. Okay, so you want to keep your body weight in that right foot and see if you can have your knee tracking straight ahead as you slide out, and then you pull in. Good. Right elbow pulls back, left arm reaches forward. Okay. The harder you push into the slider as you pull the leg in, probably the more like sensation or work it will be. But you really, what's nice about this is you really don't have to like think too much. You just have to get the leg in and out. Okay. So the knee bends, it slides away, and then you pull it in. Nice job. Super good. Then you can kind of slide your slider out of the way, come back onto your mat. Okay, great. Gonna do a quick balance exercise. We just haven't been doing as much balance the last couple of classes, so we'll incorporate it today. So you're gonna pull your left knee into your chest. We're gonna circle our ankle here. Okay. Try not to have your hips shifted forward like this. Pull those hips back a bit. We're gonna circle the ankle in both directions, so we're loading this right leg some more. And then we'll do our figure four. So you're gonna cross the left ankle over the right thigh, come to a prayer position with the hands, and you can just send your hips back. Drive your left leg into your right thigh, then you just hinging those hips back a bit. If you wanna bend the right knee a bit, you can, but you don't have to. And then see if you can hold and breathe. Three-ish breaths here. It's okay to wobble, it's okay to come out of it, it's okay to hold on to something. Find your stretch. Beautiful. Slowly stand up, pull the knee to the chest, and then slowly bring the foot down. Look up at the ceiling, drop the chin to chest, roll on down. Blocks out of the way, hands on the mat. Right leg is reaching all the way up, three-legged dog. We're opening the hip today. Hip rotates away from left leg, and then rotate, turn it in. We'll do it one more time. And then we're lowering all the way down onto our mat. So feel free to drop the knees down first or not, but we're gonna come through a plank and then make our way all the way down. You can make a pillow for your forehead, bend your knees, sway your legs from side to side. Just let all that work go. Yeah, let the whole body get heavy. Just let all the work go. Awesome. So we're gonna go into our letter X. So just make sure you have space. You're gonna take your arms wide and your legs wide. Arms wide and legs wide. Not super wide, but just open them up. Think literally the letter X, okay? Palms are facing each other. Palms are facing each other. From here, arms, legs, chest, and head, everything lifts up. Everything lifts up, okay? Yep, and then you're gonna move slightly, right arm towards right leg, left arm towards left leg, and then back to center. So they move towards each other. The legs go wide, the arms go wide, and they come back towards each other. And then you're just moving them in and out, keeping the whole back body working, 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 still thinking of lifting everything up, like not letting anything drop down, but then moving side to side. Nice job. And then when you're ready for a rest, relax the body on the ground, make the pillow for the forehead, bend the knees, gently sway legs from side to side, and the gaze. And then we'll do our scorpion stretch today. So we're gonna take the arms wide to like making the letter T, and then turn your head and look at your right hand. So you might want your head on a washcloth or a blanket or a towel or something if you don't like it on the mat, okay? So you're facing your right hand. You bend your right knee, lift your right leg up. I would scoop your pelvis under a bit here. You'll get more length through that hip. And then reach your right foot towards the ground. And then I like to take this right hand and reach it up into a diagonal. So instead of the T, it kind of moves up a little. And then you can get a lot of length through that right side body. So you can feel kind of a stretch all along there, but keep reaching through that right hand. So you're reaching from the shoulder, lengthening the lat and serratus here on the right side. Good. You can bring the right hand back down to a T, roll back onto the belly, turn the head, look at the left hand, bend the left knee, pick the left leg up, tuck the pelvis a bit, reach your left toe towards the ground, doesn't matter if it touches or not. And then if you like that feeling, you can take the left arm up a little towards that diagonal. Then you're really trying to reach, right? Your left hand as far away from your left knee as you can, finding length through the left side. And then we'll take the hand back to the T, roll back onto the belly. We're gonna transition our hands in and come into our Sphinx. Okay, so we'll just play like a little bit here with some pronation and supination of our forearms. So tops of the feet are pressing down, push away from the ground and spread the shoulder blades apart. So I want you to do your right palm facing up towards your face and your left palm down. Okay, but you're not sinking towards the ground. You're pushing away from the ground. And then just reverse it. Right palm down, left palm up. And then right palm up, left palm down. Right palm down, left palm up. Yep. Few times. Good. And then let's do both palms facing down. So classic Sphinx. And then head is going to move ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. If you don't have any neck issues, I would go for it and let yourself find a bit of a stretch, but gentle. We always want to just be like gentle with a neck stretch. If you tend to have neck issues, I wouldn't look for a stretch. I would look for just movement. So it'd be like a little bit of a smaller range of motion just to get the head and the neck moving, not really a huge stretch. And no matter which one you're doing, keep your face relaxed. Okay. And then we'll go chin to chest and chin to ceiling. When you look up, if you want to move your bottom teeth in front of your top teeth, it'll stretch the front of the neck a little bit more. If you like that, go for it. And then turn, look over one shoulder, turn, look over the other shoulder. Beautiful. From here, our toes are tucking. Okay, drive your knees into your mat, lift your hips up in line with your pelvis. You might need to adjust where your knees are. You might need to walk them closer or further depending on you, okay? From here, okay, I want you to see if you can actually move your eyes. So nothing else is going to move. You're in your knees down plank. So the knees are down. Make sure your knees are down for this. You don't need to have the knees up. And you're gonna take your eyeballs, and your eyeballs look left, and your eyeballs look right. Your head does not turn to the left or the right. It's just the eyeballs. This might be the hardest thing we do all class. Just the eyeballs. Not easy. And then when you're good, eyeballs can do their normal stuff. Okay, we're gonna lift the knees, lift the hips, start to walk the feet in towards the elbows. You're gonna come into your dolphin. If you wanna skip dolphin, we'll meet you in child's pose in 2 seconds. Feet are coming towards elbows. Relax the head and the neck. Move the rib cage towards the thighs. Let the heels sink down towards your mat. Spread through your palms. Push your rib cage towards your thighs. Take a couple of breaths. And then when you're good, knees come down, toes untuck, hands come down by feet. We're in the fetal position. The forehead rests on the mat or on your blanket. The shoulders melt. Soften the fingers, soften the belly. Just let everything get nice and heavy. And then we're sweeping the arms forward, finding our yoga blocks, sticking the palms on top of the yoga blocks. You're in table, and the left leg is going to reach back. Okay, you might want to take your blocks a little bit more on the wider side. Inhale, slow down. Exhale, pop up. Okay, inhale, slow down. Exhale, pop up. Good. Nice job. And then we're going to go left foot stepping in between hands. We can keep the torso leaning over this left leg. We got those Y raises again. So you can keep your left hand on your yoga block, take the block under the right hand, and you're going to put it underneath. And I'm just saying this for balance, like as you get set up, if you need a little help, okay? But you're going to take the yoga block and you're going to smash it with your ribs. Like I said, if you don't like how it feels, then don't use the block. Just keep your rib cage huddled over your leg or use your rolled up blanket, okay? When you feel balanced, okay, my back toes are tucked for help with that. You're going to take your arms out to make the letter Y and lift and lower the arms. Keep smashing the block. So feel free to round your upper back. You can think of like angry cat here in the upper back. Keep the face relaxed and try not to just let your arms drop down. Try to lift and then control the arms down. So that's very different than just letting the arms drop. So they lift and they come down. My palms are facing each other, and then I'm just lifting my arms out to a diagonal, just straight up making the letter Y. Perfect. Awesome. And then you can take the yoga block out. You're going to have the blocks on the highest height, tuck the toes, lift the back knee. So you might need to walk your back foot in a little bit. Your front knee is bent. Your back leg is straight. You're going to take your yoga block with you and come up and lean your body over your front leg. Okay, so you're pushing your palms firmly into the block. Put your body weight into this front leg, and then you can do either a reach to one side or the other, or a pendulum swing one side to the other, or a combo of both. Okay, but your back hip is not moving or rotating. This is all arms and rib cage. Good. Nice job. Either one is good. Great. Now you're going to drop your right heel down, open up, find your warrior two. Okay. So back edge of right foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Left toes are facing straight ahead. You got it. So yoga block is going to go straight up alongside the ears. Beautiful. Okay. So now you're going to lean your torso over your left leg. Yep. Drive the knee forward. Push through the foot, straighten the leg, and then pull yourself up. Nice. So a knee bend, side bend, knee drive, push through the foot, pull on up. We'll do one more. Then you can bring the yoga block down. You're going to lift your right heel up, pivot and turn. Okay, you're back to this squared position with the hips. You're going to bring your hands down onto your yoga blocks on the highest height. Set them up in front of you however you need them. You're going to bring your right knee in towards your chest and then start with just some of these pelvic tilts. So you're untucking your pelvis, stick your butt up, and then tuck under. It's super subtle, but I just want you to feel it, all right? Now, keep your left leg straight and then settle with the butt more untucked. So settle with the butt kind of sticking up towards the ceiling. And you're just reaching this right leg straight back and then pulling it into your chest without tucking your pelvis. So if I tuck my pelvis, I get my knee a lot closer in towards me. That's not what we're doing. We're just keeping it untucked and seeing how that goes. One thing you can play with is imagining you are getting lighter on your yoga blocks with your hands, any amount, and it will make it a little bit more sensational in that left leg. Good. Nice. And then when you're good, you're going to plant the ball of your right foot down with the heel up, round your spine, come off your yoga blocks. We're going to roll on up and we're going to get into our sliding on this side. So take your slider, stick it under the ball of your right foot, but lift your right heel up. So we're doing the backward sliders first, okay? So my left foot is on my mat and it's facing straight ahead, okay? Now I'm gonna have to bend into my left knee and start to slide back. Okay? I just have my arms in front of me. Now I can lean my torso over my front leg and pull my leg in, or I can try to keep more of an upright torso and then pull my leg in, or I kind of like experimenting with both and just seeing how they're different. Okay, if you really like one better than the other, stick with it, or if one doesn't feel good, do the other, you know. It's just a slight difference. Yeah, good. So we're heavy, heavy, heavy through this left leg. See if you can do two more. Good job. Love it. Okay. So then you might need to shake out the left leg for a moment. And then we're going to do our side lunges. So you want to set your feet up next to each other so they're parallel and facing straight ahead. So now we're going to be bending into the left knee and sliding the right leg straight out. Okay. So the left knee has to track straight ahead in line with your second toe. Your left elbow pulls back, your right arm reaches forward. Your body weight is in the ball of your left foot, and then you're coming up. You, of course, have some weight in your heel, but I just don't want all your body weight in the heel. So you slide it out, and then you pull it in. Okay. The more you push into that blanket or towel or whatever slider you're using, the more you push into it, the more sensation you'll probably feel on the inner edge of your right leg. Good, nice job. Now, you don't need to slide out too far to get a lot out of this. So if you're struggling, my guess is you're trying to slide too far away. You don't need to slide too much to get a lot out of this. Focus more on your left knee, tracking in line with your second toe, and pushing down hard into the ground with the slider than on going out far. Good. Let's do one more. Beautiful. Okay. And then shake out the leg, lose the slider. You're going to do a little bit of balance. So you're on your left foot, going to pull the right knee in towards the chest. Okay. Do a few ankle circles here. Find your balance. Find something, a focal point for your gaze. Go in both directions. And then you're going to do right ankle over left leg, figure four, prayer position, hands. Send your hips back, maybe bend your left knee a little bit. A couple of breaths here. And then when you're good, slowly stand up, take that knee to the chest, and then step it back. Okay, gaze goes up, chin tucks, roll the spine down nicely, plant the palms, step the right leg back to runner's lunge, drive through your palms, reach your left leg all the way up and back, turn the left hip out, turn the left hip in, 2 times, and then rock forward, left foot down, knees down. Let's do some sit-in shifts. So option 1, fingertips stay on the ground, tented fingertips, hips shift to the right, and you kind of side bend, lean to the left, and then hips shift back into the left, and you side bend, lean to the right. And you're just managing like how much weight you have in your hands. This is, yeah, and you, depending on your ankles and your knees, you don't have to sit your hips super far back here. Okay? If your ankles and your knees are happy about it, you can sit your butt all the way to your ankles and still keep your hands on the ground and use that to help you shift from side to side. But we're looking for length through the sides of the body. Okay. If you like this one and you're good, you can bring the hands to the heart and you're going to side bend, drop your hips to one side and the other. Great job. Awesome. And then we're going to take a seat. We're going to bring our legs out in front of us and just give them a really nice shake on your mat. Okay. So shake them out. Make sure all the blood's flowing. Everything's still happy. Okay. And then we'll take our feet nice and wide, like wider than the mat or as wide as your mat. And just start, actually, I'll face you. So we're going to go small, medium, big. What do I mean by that? We've done this before, but small is just your knees going side to side, but your feet are flat on the ground. And take a moment and like look at your feet. So you don't want your big toe mound, your little toe mound, or your heel leaving the ground. So the knees are really subtly moving, but no part of the foot is lifting up. You might notice is, and which would be good to notice, is if when your knees go to the right, the arch of your right foot lifts and the arch of your left foot kind of moves towards the ground. Then when your knees go to the left, the arch of your left foot lifts and the arch of your right foot goes towards the ground. Okay, that would be that's what we want our feet to do. So they're kind of everting and inverting a little, or pronating and supinating, but the whole time the big toe stays down. Okay, then we'll go to medium. Okay, so medium is just going to be basically the same thing, but you're going to let the bottoms of the feet lift up. So when the knees go to the right, the bottoms of the feet are facing the left. When the knees go to the left, the bottoms of the feet are facing the right. Okay, we'll call this medium. And then large is going to be, let your knees go all the way to one side and let them go all the way to the ground. Turn around and reach for something. We do this one a lot. And then knees go all the way to the ground, turn around, reach for something. So the reach is important. And I want you to actually imagine that you had to reach for something. And that's going to elicit this response in the rib cage and the shoulder that we want. Okay. We never want to stop reaching. We have to reach for things all the time, even if it's TV remotes or phones. We still need to reach. So we want to keep practicing that. We have to reach for dishes and things at the grocery store and other stuff too. But I think you know what I mean. Okay. And then we're going to go to the top of the mat, get into some of our rocking and rolling. If you know yours tends to be clunky, put your blanket behind your low back. You're going to roll your spine along the length of the mat and then roll on it. Okay. So we're just going to keep it simple today. We won't do any extra fancy things, but just focus on inhaling as you roll back, really rounding through the spine, exhaling as you come up. And then trying to smoothen out your movement as best as you can, keeping it smooth. Awesome, awesome job. And then your feet are gonna come out in front of you. We're gonna go back to, we did this in the beginning, but heels are on the ground. You're gonna drag your heels towards your butt, reach your arms forward, and then you're gonna take your time and slowly lower all the way down. But see if you can go as slow as possible. And then we'll re-arrive on our backs. Our head will arrive last. Let the body get heavy and soft and just kind of melt into your mat. If it would feel good to do a few windshield wipers, go for it. And we're gonna be sticking the yoga block underneath the pelvis. So the flat height of the block right underneath the pelvis, and then legs are going up. And if you need to adjust so that nothing's digging into you, can always do that. And then you're just swaying those legs from side to side. Good. And then I want to do some leg swivels. So turn hips, knees, and toes out. Hips, knees, toes out. Heels in. And then open the legs up. And then as the legs come together, everything turns inward. So everything faces outward, hips, knees, and toes. And then hips, knees, and toes turn in as legs come towards each other. Okay. And you're just kind of flossing the hips here. Nice. Super good. And then reverse it. So hips, knees, and toes are turning in and they open up and then they turn out as they come together. Moving the hips through some internal rotation and external rotation as they come together. Beautiful. Okay, and then let's do some slow motion bicycling. So you're in charge of how big or small you make your bicycle. If you tend to get a lot of hip crackling or popping and you don't like it, just keep your rotation a little smaller. If it feels good to kind of move the hips through their full range of flexion and extension here, you can do that. But we're going pretty slowly. And then reverse it, back pedal. And then feet come down. Take a moment and let the pelvis be super heavy on the yoga block. So just let it be supported. You might soften the eyes or let the eyelids flutter close. Notice if you can relax the pelvic floor here. So if you need to like do a Kegel and engage and then relax it to feel the relaxation, sometimes that can help. But no, we don't want to be gripping or tensing. Just notice if you naturally tend to always be guarding there. Awareness is the first step to kind of letting it go, learning to. And then when you're good, we're gonna lift the hips up off the yoga block, bring the pelvis down to the ground, do legs long, arms in a T. First, I want you to imagine that someone was playing tug of war with your hands and pulling your arms in opposite directions. Your palms are up, and you're just like imagining that and kind of finding length through the chest and the arms. And then in that position, my arms are just slightly off the ground. In that position, you make a fist and then curl your fist in towards your shoulder and then uncurl. You just do that a few times and it will just get into the forearms, the wrists, the hands, fingers. See? And then when you're good with that, you'll settle the arms down, lift the left leg, cross it over the right, tap the left toe towards the ground, bring it back around, and then do the same thing on the right. So we're keeping the shoulder blades down for these first few. When my left toe goes over to the right, I keep my left shoulder blade down, and then right toe over to the left, I keep my right shoulder blade down. Good. And then do a couple where you let the shoulder blade lift, but if I reach my right or my left toe over to my right, I want to reach my left arm far away in the opposite direction, even though my shoulder's up. Yeah. So now when I go the other way, I can let my right shoulder lift, but I'm still reaching my right hand the opposite way. Good. We'll do one more on each side. And then you can play with a happy baby or any other shape, position, adjustment that would feel good to you to help your practice feel complete. Happy baby is always a nice one, but if you have any other way that your body would like to move, let it go there, even if you don't need to think about it, just kind of let the body lead the way. And then start to make your way into a comfortable shape for some stillness. Get together any props you like. Rest the palms somewhere on the body or by your side, somewhere that the hands can rest. Easy and effortless. If the eyes are open, letting them close if that's comfortable for you. Inviting the head to get heavier, maybe rocking it from one side to the other. Letting the shoulders relax. Feeling for an opening in the chest, a loosening down in the belly. Relaxing of the pelvic floor. Softening in the upper legs, the knees, the calves, the shins, the ankles, and the toes. Letting the whole body to settle, think. Take a few moments to be still. You can always feel free to stay here as long as you like, especially if you're just getting into that zone and you're feeling relaxed. I would just kind of shut this off and keep relaxing. If you do need to make moves, you can wiggle fingers and toes, move the head from side to side, circle wrists and ankles, and then maybe feel for a full body stretch or bring the knees into your chest. And we'll roll over to one side, come on into a seat. We'll come together, Reach our arms up, grow nice and tall, reach a little higher, palms come together and down through heart center. We'll bow forward in gratitude for practicing together this morning. Thank you so, so much. It was really great to see all of you as always. Let me know if you have any questions.